Welcome to Breath of Fresh Air, the podcast bringing fresh insight and real talk to the world of dental practice management. Your hosts, Amanda Demora and Sarah Hamlin, are two industry insiders who've seen it all from the front desk to the C-suite. Amanda, the founder of Essential Dental Services, now Daydream Dental, is an operations consultant, business coach, and practice management expert. Sarah, former COO of Essential Dental Services, continues her leadership journey as the COO of Daydream Dental, a cutting-edge dental billing company. Together, they deliver unfiltered conversations on dental office operations, leadership, revenue cycle management, team dynamics, strategy, industry trends, and more. Designed for practice managers, dentists, assistants, and front office professionals, this podcast is the ultimate resource for anyone looking to optimize and elevate their dental practice. Take a deep breath, because Breath of Fresh Air is here to shake things up and help dental teams build smarter, smoother, and more successful practices.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Breath of Fresh Air podcast. I'm Amanda Demora.
And I'm Sarah Hamlin, and it's been a while since we've talked.
I was going to say, we're back from hiatus. It's funny how long it kind of takes to get two people together. Even when you are trying to plan dinner with your girlfriends, it's like, what are you doing in like 3 months? And that is kind of how like Sarah and I's schedule have been the last couple months.
We made some good plans and we thought we were on track, and then things come up because that's how life is these days.
Absolutely. And the other day, so Sarah, tell people what is leading your algorithm right now on social media. What type of videos are popping up on your algorithm? I'm going to give you a hint. You sent me one the other day.
Oh, no. Oh, I was going to say cooking, but that's the one I sent you. Is that the one you were thinking? No. What?
The marker thing.
Oh, okay. Those have been leading my algorithm for a long time, and I don't know how they haven't made it onto yours. Did you like it? Because I feel like that's the kind of video that you would appreciate.
Well, tell people what it is first.
So it's like these videos of people who go, and they do it with pens too, because the pens are very satisfying, which I feel like you would appreciate, Amanda. But there are these people who buy and try out these like different brand of markers and pens. And the ones that I have seen a lot are like teachers who try out these different brands of dry erase markers on the board, and there's like juicy markers that are like super nice and have a lot of ink on the board and aren't dried out and like hard to read, and so they go and test them, and then they get rid of the ones that don't work and they like the ones that they like. And I brought this up to Amanda because my daughter's teacher was saying that if she needs somebody in class to test out the markers, my daughter is happy to volunteer. And I said, well, that makes sense to me because I really enjoy those videos. So I had to find one to send to you.
And she had been talking about them before this, and I'm like, I have no clue what you are talking about right now. So I was thinking the videos that show up on my algorithm, and I'm not exactly sure why, but it's not like I'm stopping watching them. So obviously, the algo is realizing that I'm pausing on these, is like feet videos. I'm talking about like feet from like a podiatrist, and someone's in there because they've got like some bad skin stuff going on. And I'm like, I don't know how these ever popped up here. I would say the markers is a much better feed than feet.
I really hope my algorithm doesn't start picking up on that now that like it heard you say that. Like, because I don't want to see those videos. I would way rather have markers. I hope everybody's algorithm picks up on markers instead of feet.
Oh, man. Okay. All right. So jumping in a little bit here to today. So Sarah and I, we have always talked about how much we love startups. We love working with them. We are so fascinated by this. A fresh start always sounds so intriguing, especially if you like Sarah and I have worked in different practices over the years and for lengths of time when you're like, man, I just want to burn all this down to the ground and start fresh. So what our episode today is going to be about is revenue cycle management, setting up insurance systems, and all of that for startups specifically. So getting things started the right way right from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Which is a very lucky place to be in. I can't tell you how many, when I talk to doctors who are like in the early days of getting things set up, I'm always trying to emphasize to them, like, you are in such an exciting place. I know it feels like an exhausting place. I know it feels like an overwhelming place, but honestly, it's so exciting because they are in such the perfect place to be able to really start out on the right foot. And so many other doctors that I talk to are trying to clean up some huge mess from, you know, who knows how long ago. That's not even their problem. But it's like opening a pack of fresh markers. Like you can make it as like juicy and amazing as you want, or you can make it as dry and scratchy as you want. But they're in a very exciting place.
And I feel like a lot of doctors, they start off and they are so focused on decorating the office, right? And their equipment and their branding, very important as well. Mm-hmm. But they don't give a thought to how they're going to set up their revenue cycle management for success. Mm-hmm. And things can go south really quickly. And we have seen that firsthand. We have talked to plenty of startups who have been in operation for, I don't know, a year or less. And they've got outstanding claims and unpaid balances, and it gets ugly. So,
yep,
that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay. I'm going to mention one more thing here. And when you are a startup and a new business of any kind, you're always worried about your reputation, right? Mm-hmm. And you don't want a bad Google review, and you get very worried about that. And to that, I say there is no way to spoil your reputation more than people who are mad about their bill. So,
yeah, straight to Google about that bill.
Yes, that is what upsets patients the most, I think, is when you kind of mess with their money. People don't like that. So, all right. First segment here is your tech stack. Like, what do you actually need to get this all going? Very first thing is practice management software. You are probably going to be looking into a bunch of these. And for this one, I want to kind of default to Sarah and what her pick would be, because she works with so many at Daydream. And
my recommendation here too is, like, most doctors will probably come into the early days of their startup with a preference already, because there will certainly be a PMS that they have worked with before, whether it was like when they were an associate or maybe in dental school, they had something that they were kind of using and got familiar with. And I really think that dentists need to take the time to explore all of the options, because there are many, and I still have yet to see one that really rules them all. And I'm always like amazed that nobody has really like taken all the good bits and pieces from all of them and put them together into like one super amazing PMS. But that does mean that depending on what your preference is and what you really want to prioritize, there are options out there. My personal favorite is still Open Dental, and I still really love Open Dental.
Had a feeling you were going to say that.
But the cloud-based ones are making some good progress. I do really like where Oryx is heading. I think that they are moving in a good direction, particularly for their kind of like accounting and RCM side of things. But I know that other doctors really like the charting side of some other PMSs more. So I think really just like explore all of your options. The reason I think Open Dental works really well for a lot of doctors is because it is able to integrate with so many third parties that, like, if there is something about Open Dental that you think could be done a little bit better or you want some more support with, then there's most likely a third party platform out there that can help support Open Dental in the way that you want. So Open Dental is still my favorite, but I know Amanda has a different favorite. So I think it just kind of is personal preference here, but really encourage you to go try them out and experiment with multiples.
I second everything you said there. Just because you are familiar with something from a different practice or dental school does not mean that that is what you should be picking for your new office. And I love EagleSoft. That is my favorite because I know it so well, but I also know that it is not the best soft. If I were opening a startup with a doctor, I would probably say Open Dental because, again, like Sarah said, it integrates with so many things there. It just, I mean, the reporting is amazing. I would not pick EagleSoft. I know that hurts my heart to say. Certainly not Dentrix. That's going to be like moonlighting. And I don't know what their date is on that, but they do have a year in which they are going to sunset that product and try to get everyone over to Ascend. My other tip here is to not go with a practice management software that's tied to one of the big companies like Patterson or Henry Schein or whatever it is. Take an independent software company.
I also would say, not to put a ton of pressure on you about your PMS selection, but there is nothing worse in a practice than a software conversion. It is the biggest headache and it adds so much complication to your patient charts, to your patient accounts. So take the time and pick wisely when it comes to a PMS.
Absolutely. I think we probably would go through a merge or a software transition if we didn't think people were going to quit. So, and I have also seen startups start with something and quite literally a few months later switch. Don't do that to your team, okay?
Yeah.
Take the time to trial out some different ones, do some demos. I know that the biggest thing to doctors and their clinical team is the clinical side of the software, but your front office part is really important too. Ledgers, insurance, all of that stuff. And a lot of softwares are much better in that department than others.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, second thing, a clearinghouse. Okay, a clearinghouse is where you are sending your claims. So what's your favorite, Sarah?
We work pretty extensively with both, and I'm not really sure that I have I do like the interface, like what Vine looks like a little bit better than Dental Exchange. I think it's a little more user friendly, but I don't think that there is anything wrong with Dental Exchange. I think it's just takes a little bit more figuring out. I will say that I think Dental Exchange has some tighter rules that you can set up around your claims, so you can choose to have certain claims for certain codes and certain payers get stopped in Dental Exchange for certain types of attachments, and Vine does not have that feature. So I think there's pros and cons to both. What I will say is that as hard as it is to switch a PMS, it is that easy to switch a clearinghouse. It's very, very easy to make the switch. So if for some reason one is not working for you, I think don't stress out about it. It's quite easy to switch over to the other.
What was I going to say? I have pretty much exclusively worked with Vine, which I love. And another thing I love about it, we're going to get into some more of our ideal tech stack here, is it also has a lot of other capabilities too. So a lot of these other things. So as Sarah mentioned, the interface, it's very user friendly. It is very easy to use. I have not had any issues with it, and that is certainly my clearinghouse of preference. So one of those two.
Yep.
My advice here is don't pick something random, okay? I see in Facebook groups, has anyone heard of this XYZ clearinghouse? No, don't use that. If there's only a handful of people using it, don't use that. Don't go and try to reinvent the wheel when it comes to your clearinghouse. This is a very, very, very important tool.
Yep.
Okay, next, eligibility and verification tools. This can often be built into your PMS depending on what you have. I'll let Sarah kind of take away here.
Okay. What I will tell you about the verification tools, and I have learned this, obviously working at Daydream, we've done a couple of studies into the accuracy of some different verification tools. And what I can tell you is that some of these automated verification tools are not getting you accurate or up-to-date information. And if you've used these automated tools, you probably have already experienced this. Also, a lot of those instant eligibility tools give you like limited information. It might not be all that you want, but it is all that's available from the payer. So I think it really depends on what your verification process is going to be in office, and if you have the front office team manpower to be able to complete the rest of the verification, right? I've seen like some offices work and function perfectly fine with somebody up front who kind of fills in the gaps. They get the automated information and then they make it work. But there are some offices who don't have the manpower for that. And that is where a more comprehensive tool or system like the one that we offer at Daydream can definitely be helpful for an office. And potentially in a startup position, this is exactly what you need, is kind of a more full service tool, because you have one front desk person. That front desk person is going to be answering the phone and checking patients in and out and doing treatment planning and sending insurance claims and posting insurance payments. They probably don't have time to also be on the phone doing a full verification breakdown. So we do offer something that's a little bit more full service. We use some of those instant eligibility features when they are available and when they are accurate. And we've compared those fields from the immediate eligibility from the payer to what we can get by a phone call and to what's available on the portal. And what we found is we can use a mix of all three of those sources to get you the most accurate and complete verification possible. So something more full service might work well for a startup, just because it kind of helps support your in-office team a little bit better. And because then you make sure that you are building your insurance plans accurately and completely from day one. So you don't have to go back and do it again later.
And we're going to get into that part, building out your insurance plans within your practice management software in a little bit. I wanted to ask you, and I wanted you to tell our listeners a little bit about. So a lot of times when we're thinking about an insurance verification, we're thinking about some software that gets us like a PDF breakdown, and it's saved to the patient's document somewhere where, there's different words for that depending on the software. EagleSoft, it's a smart doc. Dentrix is Doc Center, I think, et cetera, et cetera. But if you use Open Dental, and correct me if I'm wrong, Daydream goes a step beyond that and actually goes in.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, you were doing great. I should let you
what are the words?
That's the other thing. This also kind of ties back to our PMS discussion too, is like some of the PMSs do a really good job of being able to build insurance information into the PMS so that you can put the information in and then your treatment plan comes out accurate based on 80% coverage and a $50 deductible, and they have an age limit for this certain age and we know how old the patient is. So then voila, your treatment plan comes out accurate. Some of them have terrible insurance build out. So if this is important to you, being able to just put the patient treatment in and have the treatment plan be accurate right away, do your due diligence with the PMS investigation and figure out if the PMS you're considering has this capability. Open Dental has really great capabilities for this and very nuanced. I will say Dentrix has come a long way in their insurance build out options as well. Unfortunately, EagleSoft is still kind of behind the times in this setup.
No surprise there.
But we do, at Daydream, we take it one step further than most of the other instant verification options out there, and we will build the entire insurance plan in Open Dental for you so that your treatment plans do come out accurately. And our goal with this really truly is to make it so that nobody has to look at the PDF that goes in the imaging center or the smart doc or the doc center, because we want you to be able to just trust what is in your PMS and trust that treatment plan that comes out on the other end, because that's how the PMS is supposed to function. And that is how this RCM process should function as well, is put in the information into the patient chart, say that they need this filling, put it in the treatment plan, and magically the treatment plan spits out and it has all the information that you need. So we do that hard work and that, PMS kind of mastery work to make sure that that's done and your team can just focus on presenting the treatment, because that's hard enough as it is. You shouldn't have to do math on a calculator in addition to talking with your patient about how much things are going to cost.
Right. And if it's a front office team member who is, trying to scramble to get this information to a patient kind of on the spot, if you have a PDF of an insurance breakdown and it's, okay, restorative's covered at 60%. And that's all there is, but we're not taking into account what's the allowed amount, what is the write-off going to, all of that stuff. Well, there's no way your estimate to the patient is going to be any kind of accurate at all.
Yep.
So these build outs of the insurance plans are really important if you are trying to provide accurate costs to your patient.
Yeah, and it's also like, I'm sure we'll spend some time maybe touching on this a little bit later, but hiring and like screening for an employee at a startup is also a huge headache. And being able to, like, how do you trust and know that your, team member is actually doing this accurately? Like, they say they're doing it accurately, but like, I don't know. It's very hard to know until they're in the moment and until some of these insurance payments actually come back. So, knowing that you have an accurate verification from the beginning that your team member is having to present helps eliminate some of that question and some of that concern, because it's just happening for them. They don't have to be the ones doing the math.
Right. So I wanted to talk about some other options too when it comes to verifications, because there certainly are some. And Vine provides verifications as part of their portal, or, if depending on what I think subscription type you have with them. I'm not 100% sure, but they do have that tool. One thing I don't like, no offense, Vine, is they don't write back to the software at all. They won't even, transfer over a PDF automatically, nothing. That all has to be manual. So I don't like that.
Yep.
And then there are a bunch of others. Pretty much everyone's got a verification tool in this day and age. So
they're all using the same information, though, just so everybody knows.
They are all using the same information, and they're all going to be very similar. I don't know of many. Honestly, Daydream is the only one I know of that does the plan builds into Open Dental like that. I could be wrong, but that's the only one I know of. So it all depends on what's going to work for your practice and what you need. Okay, next is a payment processing system. So what are you going to use to process credit card payments from patients? If you happen to be taking insurance credit card payments, which you should not.
Stop doing it.
Stop doing that right now. Don't ever even start. What are you going to be using? And there's a couple considerations here. I would say the biggest is whatever it is needs to integrate into your practice management software, just like everything else. And trust me on this one, I've seen a lot of them say they integrate directly and they do not. So find out exactly what that looks like with your practice management software. Another thing here is, what do they offer in terms of online payments? And what does that look like? Sarah, you used to really love Flex.
Yep. We used Flex and Moolah when I was in office. I still do really love Flex. I think that Flex has come a long way and added a lot of features in the time since I have been using them directly in office. So still highly recommend checking them out. Obviously, I was going to add to your point here too, Amanda, and just say, obviously pay attention to cost too. Like, I feel like most of them come in fairly similarly on cost, but some of them have, a 1 cent per transaction fee too. So just like make sure you're obviously comparing and doing a little research here. But for sure agree with the direct integration into your PMS. Long gone are the days where we were using a card processor, getting a little credit card receipt off of that, having to like mark that off and then manually put it into the PMS. And then you have to compare your credit card receipts to what's in the PMS at the end of the day to make sure everything like that is so silly. I hope nobody is still doing that. There's so many options out there for ones that just go straight into your PMS. So definitely look at that. But cost and online payment options. Like patients just want to be able to do it. I mean, me included. If I get a reminder for a bill, I just want to go pay it right now. I don't want to wait for when you're open and have to make a phone call and give you my card number over the phone. Like, just don't make it hard for them to pay. They want to give you money. Make it easy.
So one of my qualms with some of these systems is, like you mentioned, having to manually enter in stuff. I don't want to be able – then that's what I mean by direct integration. That can have a very big gray area when you're when you're talking about some of these systems. We're going to launch into our next thing, which is a patient communication / billing platform. So a lot of these will have a way for you to run patient payments or send like text to pay statements and things like that.
Yep.
So my mistake, I think, was trying to consolidate here with my current situation. The patient communications software that we uses one particular company to process their credit card payments. So I said, okay, let's get that in office too. And it's just absolutely terrible. So we're looking to switch back to what we had before.
One thing I was going to kind of like wrap up the tech stack segment with is like, there are a lot of platforms out there that we see, being more in the tech space now too. I see it even more. These like companies start with one core product and they do that core part really well. And then they say, okay, what's next for us? And they start to realize like, oh, we could add in text messaging to patients. Oh, we could add in this, that, and the other thing. And suddenly they are kind of promoting themselves as this like full service option for you to be able to do all of these things. And you can do all of these things, but they do all of those things really subpar. They do them all like okay, but they don't do many things well. And while I do think there's definitely some benefit to consolidating and using a few less things in your tech stack, I think if you want your tech stack to function for you very, very well and to the level that you need them to, that might mean having more than one or two softwares that you kind of have to get connected with. And personally, my opinion is that's okay as long as they actually function the way that you want them to.
I agree. It's very easy to want to consolidate as much as possible, fallen victim to it, clearly myself. But everyone wants to get in the game of doing everything, and that's just not always a great idea. Okay, so speaking of patient communications platforms, you certainly need one. Again, some softwares are going to have this built in and some are not. So that is something to think about. I also want to say that some of the ones that do have it built in, well, how robust is it?
Yeah.
So there are some that, like Weave has the ability to text, send the text to pay links to patients. And they actually have the statement with them attached so they can have a preview of that. A lot of the other ones, the patient is just getting like, here's your balance, pay it. And they're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I just want to see, where this breakdown's coming from. How do I do that? Oh, I can't. I get a call So look at that part. My practice that I manage, we use RevenueWell, which I really love. I like their insurance verification platform. They have text to pay, although I don't like who they use to run their credit card payments. Our forms are integrated into that. Oh, I didn't even talk about forms. I didn't have forms on the list. But digital forms, e-forms, online forms, that's a big thing you need to think about too. It houses all of these things for us. So unfortunately, they don't have the statement preview. I really wish they did. But as Sarah said earlier, she's yet to come across one PMS platform that has like everything you want. Same. With all of these things, there is no magical one that's going to make you happy in all directions. So finding one, I guess, that hits like most of your check boxes is what I would go with.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, so to just wrap that up a little bit, I think integration matters more than all the crazy bells and whistles. Try to avoid piecemealing 10 different things together, but don't go too don't go too crazy with that, because not every platform is going to be amazing when they offer everything under the sun. And my biggest takeaway here is automation over manual workflows all day, every day.
Yep. Agree.
Okay. Next is fee schedules and insurance strategy.
So go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead. This is actually totally your area, so I really want you to talk about this.
Okay. Yeah. If you have your patient billing software in place and you're ready to send bills, but you have to make sure that you have, solid fee schedules and insurance information and write-offs and everything in place to send accurate bills. And you want to make sure that you're collecting a decent amount of money. And that is where fee schedules really come into play. I think one trap that I see dentists fall into, probably a lot of startup dentists too, is like, we just need to get patients in the door. Being in network with every insurance company under the sun is really going to help me do that. And yes, that is true. But when I said that, converting a PMS is probably one of the biggest headaches that you'll ever do, changing your insurance networks might be close to number 2 or just as much of a headache. So I do think it is also worth some really good research and thought. And also, this is something where you should be reaching out to someone who knows what they're doing for some suggestions and feedback and input here, because this isn't your realm of expertise as a dentist, and that's okay. Find somebody who does know what they're talking about and lean on them for support in this area. And I might say maybe your fee negotiation companies might not always be the best first stop, because I think they are really excited to get you in network with a lot of companies. But talking to a consultant or somebody who's a little bit independent from those discussions might be a better first place to go, so you can fully understand all the ramifications that come with being in network with an insurance.
I can't tell you how many offices or owners have no idea how many networks they're in, or just literally no idea. Are you in network with MetLife? Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
No clue.
Whoever does this for you, you need to have them provide you a very organized list of what you are in network for and with who. Because there's so many umbrella networks and things like that where not to go back to Facebook groups, but I love to. Or people are like, oh my gosh, we just realized we're in network with this one because, it's this umbrella network and XYZ, and people really don't have any idea. And especially when they want to start going out of network, they have no clue where to start because they don't know who they're in network with.
Yes.
Another thing to really think about here is when you think about what you're going to be charging, let's just say I'm using a crown for an example, a very cheap crown of $1,000. Expect to really only collect $600 if you are in network, and you need to be okay with that. And it all might sound well and good in the beginning, of course, because like Sarah said, you want patients in the door, but that's going to wear on you for sure. So be selective. I really wouldn't go in with everybody under the sun. I'd maybe pick one or two.
Yeah. And I think start with start looking internally first, right? To figure out kind of, you should be looking at fees in your geographic region, but you should also be thinking, okay, what kind of materials do I want to use to provide the quality of care that I want to provide? How much do those materials cost? How long do I feel like it's going to take me of my time to be able to prep a crown? And you need to use all of those things to calculate like what your fee should land at. And if your fee really should land at $1,200 and you say, okay, I'll still set the fee at $1,000, and then you go in network and you're actually accepting $600, guess what? That $600 is not even going to cover your cost of materials and your time with the patient in the chair. So you have to really pay attention to all of this and think about all of this when you're, choosing to go in network and accept these adjusted fees. And then once you determine what fees you want to accept, what fees work for you, what plans you're going to be in network with, the other thing and the other hill that I will just continue to die on when it comes to fees and write-offs and stuff is what you're doing in your PMS. And I cannot stress how much I feel it's important for you to always post your full office fee into the patient ledger and then account for your insurance write-offs as separate write-offs. Being able to track this information over time to know how much write-offs you're actually doing at the end of the day. How much does it cost me really to be in network with Delta Dental? Yes, I saw this many new patients, but I'm writing off this much. That makes it so that I'm not, making money on this procedure. That's okay. But if you're not tracking these things from the start, then you can't go back and actually reflect on these decisions and make informed decisions about the future. So setting your PMS up that way and making those intentional decisions from day one is really a very important part of this process as well.
Yes, I've seen a lot of practices, they kind of just have one general adjustment type, and that's it. So instead of insurance adjustment or, patient courtesy, I won't get into that. But whatever the adjustment type might be, they kind of just have one. And then at the end of the year, they're like, oh, our adjustments were X amount. Well, how much of that were insurance write-offs? You're not really sure.
Yep.
So super important to get those set up properly as well.
Yep.
Also, when we're talking about fee schedules and when you're setting them up in your PMS, they need to be updated and kept up on. When I owned my dental billing company, this was something I saw a lot. We'd start working with a new practice. We would be going in, we would start, posting insurance payments for them. Nobody had their fee schedules set up right, which led to a lot of manual adjustment every time we were making insurance. It was like, okay, well, now we've got to debit and credit this and that. No, just update your fee schedules, yearly.
Yep.
And make sure that's on your or your practice manager, whomever it is, your list every year to update each one and keep these maintained.
Yes. And when we're talking about treatment plans, if you've gone through all of this work to establish these really great verification processes and procedures, your verification process and procedure is going to go straight out the window if you don't have your fee schedules up to date. Nothing on that treatment plan will get you an accurate cost estimate for your patient if your fees are not correct.
Mm-hmm. It can definitely be time consuming. I understand that, but it's really a necessary evil.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, our next segment here is insurance verifications, which we have covered kind of in depth. But to talk a little bit more on them, to me, they are really the kickoff of your patient's revenue cycle. When a patient is coming in for treatment, this is the kickoff, and that is your practice doing an insurance verification. Yeah. And everything kind of stems from that. Now, there are a lot of wonderful softwares out there. We already went over that. What they are going to do is they are going to start trying to verify patients on your schedule, whatever your cadence might be, whatever you're going to tell it to do. Maybe it's a week ahead. Okay. And again, some are really like Vine, when Vine cannot verify, even though I don't like that they don't write back into the PMS, but I like this feature. When Vine can't verify a patient, you have the option to go in and set this up to have Vine text the patient a form that says, hey, couldn't verify your insurance. Would you mind updating it on this form? The patient sends it back. Boom, it gets put in and they're able to perform the verification. Talk about automating workflows. That is it at its highest. Besides the fact that it doesn't write into your PMS. But I like that feature. So that is going to do a bunch of things for you. Obviously, it's going to, verify that the insurance is even active. It's going to be showing you what the coverage is for certain procedures. And then everything should flow smoothly from there. You're avoiding claim denials, rejections, all of that stuff.
Yeah. I think the other really important part about insurance verifications, and certainly it is the actual completion of the verification and the data entry and the work to do that with insurance. But from like a patient communication standpoint, this part of the process makes me a little bit crazy in a lot of offices that I see, because the way that dental benefits are set up in this country basically make it feel to patients like they are getting dental work for free. And like the cost of dental visits is monopoly money, as I like to call it. Like it's fake money. Like, oh, it cost me to get my teeth cleaned. Well, no, I get those for free through my dental insurance. And nothing makes me more crazy than the patient thinking that things are free, because they're not. There is a cost associated with these things. And yes, your dental insurance does pay for them, but having these money discussions with patients early on and like establishing the value that they are getting, the value of this appointment, the value of your time at the dental office, all of that starts now. It starts before the appointment. Make it clear to the patient, like, hey, you're coming in for an appointment. Here's your cost estimate for this appointment. Even if their cost estimate is $0 because insurance is going to cover it, let them know that. Let them know that this cleaning exam and x-rays is $210, but we estimate that your insurance is going to pay 100% of that. We're giving you this discount for being in network with your insurance. Isn't that so lovely that we're nice enough to give you a $150 discount off of your $210 appointment? And they don't realize that. They don't know the cost to the dental office for being in network with these insurances. So I can't stress enough how much I feel it's important to get this information in front of patients, even if you think that their visit is going to be 100% covered. This also helps conversations later go much better if something happens with their insurance coverage. Because things happen. That's what we know with insurance. Things happen. Verifications get retroactively changed because, oh, you quit your job and then the coverage for your insurance like went away in that month. And now you actually owe the full $210 because you're not even covered by this insurance that we were in network with. So if you have that discussion up front, it really helps to like prime the patient for understanding what could come down the road. And the other thing that I really like to do, to Amanda's example of if somebody doesn't have insurance, one of the quickest ways that I got responses from patients who didn't have insurance and hadn't given it to us ahead of time was to literally send them a treatment plan and say, we don't have any insurance information on file for you, so you need to plan to bring $210 to your visit on Friday. Guess what? The patient would be picking up the phone to call and say, I don't want to bring $210. Here's my insurance. But if you're not pushing them like that or giving them that reality check, then they're just going to assume that this monopoly money is going to make it work and you're going to do all this scrambling the day of to get their insurance verified last second.
A lot of practices will kind of put into place usually like a 2-day ahead. Like if we can't verify your insurance 2 days ahead, we may need to push out your appointment. So you can kind of think about that when you're thinking about office policies.
Mm-hmm.
When you were talking, one of the things that came to mind is we have, no, I don't want to say a lot, but some patients who, let's say they come in for a prophy in July,
Mm-hmm.
and that maybe is their first one of the year because of just the way things have fallen. And
Sure.
then their next one isn't until January.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be like, oh, but I did not get my 2 cleanings in this calendar year. And they are so hung up that they paid for their insurance and they wanted those 2 cleanings. Now, my argument back to that is, yeah, and you also have crown coverage. Like, I don't see you knocking down our door to get a crown or the other benefits you're paying into. They are so tied to those 2 cleanings.
Never mind that they actually need scaling and root planing, but they want to get those 2 free prophies that aren't going to do them any good. Ugh.
It's so interesting to me. Like, for their insurance to them is like their cleanings, and that is the most important.
Yep. Yeah, because they think they're free. It just
Yes,
makes me
they
crazy.
do. No, I get 2 free cleanings a year. Well,
Yes.
No.
They are entitled to those free cleanings.
I don't see anyone referring to like, oh no, I get 1 free physical a year on my medical insurance. I don't hear anyone saying that.
But your free colonoscopy every 5 years or whatever.
Definitely no one's saying that.
Uh-huh. I know.
Okay. Second to last piece, maybe, is patient finances and billing systems. So from day one, and this is certainly a problem we have seen many times, setting up what your financial policy is going to be. Okay, get that going. When payment is due, how insurance estimates are presented to your patients, and how you are going to implement this from day one. I want to argue that like the majority of practices that we have worked with have never sent a patient a bill in their whole entire history, because that's what it felt like. I'm sure that's not true, but it really always mystified Sarah and I when patients are like, well, yeah, we've never actually sent any patients bills. And they can't.
That just reinforces the monopoly money mindset, right? Like they just think this is magically taken care of. I don't pay money to my dentist. My insurance does it all. Ugh.
Oh my gosh, it's actually dawning on me now that we have certainly had patients in the past that have been like, well, my last office never sent me a bill for a filling. And I'm like, well, you know what? They probably weren't sending bills.
They were just writing everything off. We don't really know how they were in business.
Right. So here I want to kind of talk about what our ideal system would be. And it's a very easy system. So again, step 1, your verification. Okay. You're going to, and having your your insurance plan builds set up within your PMS software. When that patient is walking through the door for, let's say, like 2 fillings, if you have those in place, you're going to know exactly what they owe out of pocket. You're going to know that they haven't satisfied their deductible for the year. So it's $50 and plus whatever their patient portion is going to be.
And I'm going to interrupt for 2 seconds to say, and you're also going to tell them the full cost of the appointment. So if anything happens with insurance, here's how much your appointment is costing today, so that they know that if anything funny happens, this is the total cost that they will owe.
Yes, absolutely. And then when they come in on that day, you're going to collect what you are estimating their patient portion to be right then and there. If the rest goes smoothly, insurance pays, that's the end of the story, my friend. It's that simple. Offices complicate this, way overcomplicate this. So there are certainly going to be many instances where it doesn't play out like that. So the insurance company is going to pay, and maybe it's a little bit less than you thought. You're going to post that insurance payment. You should be sending statements every single day. So be that at the end of the day, or at my practice, we do it every single morning, run patient statements. These are often just going off via text or an e-statement. and a lot of times it's some kind of cadence of the two. So like the very first statement the patient is going to get is going to be via text. Maybe they're going to get one 2 weeks after that if they haven't paid, and that maybe that's in the mail, whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
If it is in the mail, I really love having have a QR code for them to scan and pay their bill on there, have the website link laid out for them to go do and pay this, make it easy. And then, okay, second best scenario, this is very quick and they pay right away.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then, you can continue on your cadence of how and what type of statement they are getting. But be advised to try to keep these collection windows short and shrink them a little bit. We've always been conditioned to this mentality of like 30, 60, 90. Feel free to tighten those a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like, I have lots of thoughts here. I'm getting a little heated about this section. But I was just going to say that I think another key part to this is make sure that your team has the information at their fingertips to answer questions that patients might have, because this is what happens. The patient gets their statement. They're like, "Oh, I thought my insurance was going to pay 100% of that cleaning. What happened?" They'll call in, they'll ask you questions. Put notes in the patient ledger that are going to help you understand quickly and at a glance why the insurance paid differently than you thought. Because the last thing that you need to do when a patient calls in and is maybe a little bit touchy and prickly about receiving a statement, the last thing that you need to do is like put them on hold for 10 minutes while you dig in a drawer to find the EOB, to pull it up, to have to read the remark codes, to find all of the details about why it paid differently. Just put that note in the ledger when you are posting the payment and make it quick and easy and say, didn't cover pro fee because of frequency limitations. And then it's really easy for you to say, "Oh, Mrs. Jones, I'm so sorry. Looks like your insurance covers 2 cleanings in a year and this one was your third, and did you go somewhere else aside from our office?" And she could say, "Oh, yes, that's right. I had to go to the periodontist for a cleaning back in whatever." Okay, great. Well, I'll give you the credit card now over the phone because I remember that you told me that if anything happened with this insurance, this is how much I would owe. Like, just make it easy on yourself, I guess is what I'm trying to say. A little more legwork on the front end is going to make it a lot easier and a lot more low friction on the back end. And then just never, ever say we're going to send it to insurance and see what they pay, and then we'll catch up with you later. Ugh.
Right. Balance billing is going to probably bring you to a place of a very high AR.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what you want. You don't want to be spending time chasing people down for money.
Yep.
And oftentimes uncollectible money. So,
yep.
All right. Next up here is tracking outstanding claims and the importance of it. Many offices just straight up do not do it. So why don't you tell us your star system?
It's a notorious pitfall that we see at a lot of offices is, offices not sending bills, but also offices just not following up on their outstanding claims and talking about money that is just like, so it's sitting there just waiting for you to see it. Or honestly, in a lot of offices that we see, like money is like either the check has come in and got lost somewhere. Like I think somebody that we know in like the consultant space, Amanda, like I feel like fairly recently was showing us this stack of payments that was at an office that just hadn't been posted yet. And they like moved a desk to rearrange or something and found like 15 checks that had like slid behind a desk, like next to the wall, and just like nobody ever noticed that they were back there and nobody ever posted them. Like literally money is in your hands. You just have not posted it. And there's so many reasons, and some not quite that simple, why money is just not getting posted into your PMS or why it's not actually ended up in your bank account. And you're not going to be able to catch those things and tighten those processes and those policies if you're not doing insurance follow-up. So I think the important thing about insurance AR follow-up, it actually starts earlier in the process, which we've already talked about. Get your verification correct. Know that you're sending it to the right payer. Make sure that it's going cleanly through your clearinghouse, that you're not getting rejections there. And if your claim's going out as cleanly as possible, with all of that stuff from the verification done, all of the appropriate documentation attached, your claim should be coming back quickly. Like, ideally, you have very few claims that are even eking out of the 30-day timeline to get paid. And then it makes it really easy for you to stay on top of them, especially in the startup, situation. Like, follow up on them the second that they hit over 30 days. Or honestly, you could even start following up on them before. Make sure that they're on the payer portal. Make sure that like, if they're on file and what is happening. In this day and age of like electronic submissions, you don't really even have to wait 30 days to make sure that they're on file. You might have to wait 30 days for them to get fully processed, but at least make sure that the insurance company has them. And then just, checking up on them regularly, every 7 days, every 10 days. If the insurance company says, we need 7 to 10 business days to reprocess this, well, guess what? In 7 to 10 business days, you should be checking up on it again. Don't wait 2 weeks. Don't wait a month. Don't just wait and see if it ever comes in. Make sure you have established systems for going back and ways to see what is due for a follow-up.
I would say, so at my practice, I use, because I'm the one tracking them, a spreadsheet. And that is because our practice management software isn't as good as some others because it's EagleSoft. So the second a claim hit, I use 30 days because we also still use paper checks. Don't come at me.
We won't talk about that.
So that's a good, 30 days is a good cadence for me. So second a claim is hitting 30 days, I'm following up on it and I'm touching on it every couple days until it is paid or a decision is made or whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Another thing I just want to say right now, if you're getting paid by paper check, do not rip those checks off of the EOBs and run to the bank with them before they're reconciled. Mm-hmm. Don't do that. Mm-hmm. Offices fall down that rabbit hole all the time. You will never catch back up on the backlog of things that you need to reconcile. Mm-hmm. And your AR is going to go haywire. So,
yep. This also happens with offices who are signed up for EFTs, but they don't have a good process for somebody checking the bank account and seeing what payments have gotten posted in hit the bank and then found the corresponding EOB for that. If you don't have a good reconciliation process for those, this is going to get even more haywire and your insurance AR is going to get worse. At Daydream, we call this paid but not posted because money's in your bank. You think everything's fine, but that money's not getting accounted for in your PMS, and that is problematic and is going to result in a huge headache for you and your team down the road when your insurance AR just continues to blow up.
Mm-hmm. All right, next, who's doing all this? Who is actually doing all this? Is this in-house? Is this an outsourced billing company? What is it? So with a startup, I really think this can go either way, and there's I don't want to say there's cons to either way. There's pros to both things. Mm-hmm. If you are small, you have someone maybe up at the front office who is very familiar with this. I know for startups, it's easy to grab someone with no dental experience because you don't want to pay them that much because you don't have that much income. But if you are going to do that, don't let them handle your insurance. Just don't. Mm-hmm. That is really where a billing company would come in handy because they're going to set you up correctly from the beginning and hopefully be able to grow with you. So from day one that you are in good hands, and that is a nice place to be. Yep. Again, if it's someone in-house and they're experienced, that's great. And go ahead.
Yeah, it's great, but also was just going to say, remember, especially if you're in the startup phase, that one person up front is handling a lot of things and doing a lot of things for you. Answering the phone, doing all the insurance stuff, doing your treatment planning, doing patient financing, doing your patient billing. So being able to take one chunk of that off of their plate is a good way to kind of do like a bit of a hybrid model and kind of split some of the work there. I'll give Daydream another little plug here and just say we handle, helping offices get enrolled in EFTs from paper checks. And then we also help them do all the reconciliation of those EFTs and those checks to make sure everything matches with their bank account. And then submission of the claims, payment posting into your PMS with notes about what happened on the claim, and then also all of your outstanding claim follow-up. So taking all of those things off of your team's plate really frees them up to have good quality patient communication and making sure that they're having those longer talks about here's your estimation, here's, the treatment that you need, those things that actually you want your in-office team to be doing instead of data entry and payment posting.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Take the time to think about how you want this to work at your practice. And sometimes you hire too fast, or you're hiring too late, or you're outsourcing too late. And thinking this all through is going to help for sure. Okay. Wrapping things up a bit here. What this whole episode really was about was systems, and putting proper systems into place right from the start is going to carry your practice through the years in a very healthy way. Yep. And that is why we have often fantasized about, burning practices down and starting over, because it sounds so good. Mainly with the knowledge Sarah and I have now and how we could make a startup really shine. So,
yeah, I think, again, don't lose sight of what an exciting place you're in when you're in a startup. And, to our listeners who are not in a startup situation, I would also say it's never too late to revamp these systems. Certainly you're looking at a little bit of a cleanup situation, and that will be daunting and it will be hard, but the only way to stop it from getting worse is to really change your processes now. So know that it's possible. We've seen it in many, many offices already. You can do it. You just have to find the right system and honestly, the right support system of people to be able to make it happen for you.
Yep. Everything we talked about applies to well-established practices for sure. So, all right. That kind of wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.